Hi, my name is Sophia, and today we're going to talk about section 2.4 of the ACE International History textbook, How Successful Was the League of Nations During the 1920s? Start with key terms, pause if needed. Moving on. On to the aims, membership, and structure of the League. The idea of an international organization to prevent war existed before Woodrow Wilson. Early proposals came from the League to Enforce Peace and the League of Nations Society. Key supporters included Lord Robert Cecil, Leon Bourgeois, Paul Hymans, and Jean Smuts. Wilson became the main advocate at the Paris Peace Conference, where he helped draft the League Covenant, meaning League's rules. The League of Nations was officially created on June 28, 1919, as part of the Treaty of Versailles. Membership weakened it from the start, since the United States never joined, and because Germany joined only later in 1926, and the Soviet Union joined even later in 1934. Now to the League's aims. First aim was to prevent future wars, second was to enforce peace settlements, and third was to promote international cooperations. To prevent war, the League used disarmament forces and disarmament efforts, ending secret diplomacy, arbitration to settle disputes, and collective security, meaning joint action against aggressors through sanctions or military force. And this system relied on cooperation between members. The League had no army. So to enforce peace settlements, it organized plebiscites, such as in the Saar. It managed mandates, meaning the territories taken from defeated powers, and supervised by the League. And to promote cooperation, it improved labor conditions through the International Labor Organization. It repatriated prisoners of war, helped the refugees, provided financial aid to countries like Austria and Hungary, and promoted health and education. Now, structure. First, General Assembly. General Assembly was just all member states. They met yearly in Geneva, Switzerland. It was one vote per country, and decisions had to be unanimous. This slowed action and allowed veto power. Next, the Council. It was smaller, more powerful body. It had permanent members such as Britain, France, Italy, and Japan. Well, later Germany and the USSR. They met regularly and during crises. They also required unanimous decision. Next is the Secretariat. They managed daily operations and were led by Eric Drummond, which you can see in the picture. Next, the Permanent Court of International Justice. It was based in The Hague with 15 judges. It settled legal disputes and gave advisory opinions. Other commissions dealt with mandates, disarmament, refugees, slavery, labor, health, and more. Achievements included around 400,000 prisoners of war being repatriated, refugees resettled, disease control efforts, actions against drug trafficking, and about 200,000 people freed from slavery. Progress was weaker in disarmament and women's rights. Now onto the League of Nations successes. First is Teschen in 1920. The League settled the dispute between Poland and Czechoslovakia. The Coal region was divided, and both countries accepted it. The Islands in 1921. The League ruled in favor of the Åland Islands being given to Finland, and Sweden accepted it with cultural protections. Next, Upper Silesia in 1921, with territories being divided between Germany and Poland after riots, and it was again accepted by both countries. Now the Yugoslavia-Albania border dispute, again in 1921, and the League ruled in favor of Albania being protected, So Yugoslavia had to withdraw. And now Memel in 1923, with Memel being given to Lithuania with conditions. Next, Mosul in 1924, with League awarding it to Iraq and Turkey accepting it. And lastly, the Greece-Bulgaria dispute in 1925, where Greece invaded, League intervened, and Greece withdrew and paid compensations. And in all of these cases, disputes were really small. The countries actually cooperated and war was avoided. Now onto League of Nations failures. First, the Vilna incident in 1920. When Poland seized Lithuanian capital, it ignored League's orders to withdraw, and there was no enforcement in collective security, showing League's weaknesses. Next was the Polish-Soviet War from 1920 to 21, when Poland seized Russian land and no action were taken, since Soviet Union was not a member of the League of Nations, nor the countries were in favor of communism. Next, during the Ruhr occupation from 1923 to 25, when France and Belgium invaded Germany's region called Ruhr and blocked League's involvement. Only the Dawes Plan managed to resolve this, not the League. And lastly, the Corfu incident. Benito Mussolini occupied a Greek island of Corfu. Italy refused the League authority, and issue settled outside the League with Council of Ambassadors. And these cases show that major powers like Italy ignored the League, and the League could not enforce actual decisions. Now onto the key weaknesses. The Treaty of Versailles was seen as biased and was resented by defeated nations, benefiting only the victorious nations. And some of the membership problems included missing major powers early on, and because of that, the reduced credibility. The US absence weakened authority and resources, and unanimous voting slowed decisions and made them easy to block. There was no actual military force, since countries relied on voluntary cooperation and members avoided conflict. And national interest was also a major weakness, since countries acted in their own interest and ignored League decisions when they just felt like it. Now onto the humanitarian impacts. First, the International Labour Organization. It improved working conditions for people and promoted labor rights. The refugee work led by Fridtjof Nansen repatriated prisoners, created Nansen passports, helped over 1 million refugees, and won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1928. The World Health Organization controlled epidemics like the typhus, it advanced medical research, and promoted vaccines. The Mandates Commission oversaw former colonies, required reports, and limited success in preparing independence. In general, the League also supported Austria and Hungary with financial aid. Other achievements included the reduced slavery and forced labor, and the fighting of drug trafficking. These efforts influenced later organizations like the United Nations. All in all, the successes included solved minor disputes and strong humanitarian work. But failures included that the League could not control major powers, there was weak enforcement, and included structural flaws. Overall, the League had limited success. It was, though, effective in small conflicts, but it was ineffective in maintaining long-term global peace. This is the timeline. And that's it for